Hello everyone, welcome to Word Funk. I am Leon Thomas. I am joined by Austin Yorsky and Johnny Maloney. Guys, how are you feeling? How are you doing this week?
I'm tired. I'm
Oh,
tired today. Although, that's not like... Is that new? That's not new. I mean, we're all
no.
adults here, so everybody's tired. That's
Mm.
whenever a bunch of adults all get together and one of them is like, "I'm tired." I feel like that's sort of like self-indulgent. That the natural response is, "Yeah, sure, whatever, Johnny. We're all tired." Yeah,
I'm not tired at all.
I don't believe you.
No, I get like a good night's sleep every night. It's the thing that we talk about, and it's so annoying.
I know that you get a good night's sleep, Leon. I know that you can sleep on a dime. You can sleep better than a Segway can turn.
Yeah.
But even still, even when I have the best sleeps in the world, there was a point in my life where I had the best sleep I've ever had. Like that was an occasion for me. I woke up the next morning and I was like, "Oh my God, that was the greatest thing I think that's ever happened to me." But even then, it only lasts for about 5 hours afterwards, and then beyond that, it just kind of goes. Nah, I think I'm done. I'm ready to go back now. You don't experience that. You're just an unending font of energy.
No, all of my labors are not physical. It's all reading basically, and whatnot. I mean, I exercise, so I guess but I don't feel like tired after that.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like, that was a good thing that I did, and now I'm done. So I mean, I'm not saying I don't get tired because eventually it's past midnight.
Yeah.
But during the day, no. Sometimes I nap just for fun. But no, in general, I've arranged my life in such a way that that's not a thing for me anymore. It didn't used to be. I used to be tired all the time, and it was bad. But that was in the before time.
Right. Okay. That
Yep.
makes a little more sense now.
Oh, sure.
You live a lifestyle in which your tiredness can be addressed once it crops up.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
I get exhausted like emotionally sometimes, or even intellectually, but rarely physically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I exercise at the gym, it's just for an hour on the treadmill. I mean, I'm not running a marathon.
Yeah. But that's a usage tired as opposed
Oh
to
yeah,
just
absolutely.
like an existential tired. A tired that gnaws at the very fabric of your being. That has you know what it is? It is like a tired that has very gradually taken parts of you away and then replaced those parts with just tired.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it becomes a part of your identity.
I see.
I feel like if I had to do something like write up a bio for a dating site or something like that, I would one of the things I had to include in that about me would be 6 foot tall, I don't know how much I weigh, but 6 feet tall, and I really like to read, and I like movies and video games. I'm tired all the time, and that would I feel like that's something I would have to confess.
Mm-hmm. You forgot ripped as fuck.
This is the thing. I'm not ripped as fuck. I mean, good.
How ripped are you?
I don't know. I would I look good naked.
Oh, good. Well, that's the important thing.
But I'm not. I wouldn't say that I'm ripped as fuck. I'm not. It's a pragmatic kind of ripped.
Oh, okay.
It's like I'm physically fit, but I don't look like I should be on a sports magazine cover or something like that.
Okay.
I don't have those kind of genes.
Okay, so you're built to go, not built for show.
Yes.
Okay.
There we go. That's an apt way of putting it.
Great. Austin, you've been completely quiet during our sleep conversation. Are you actually asleep?
I wish.
Austin's tired all the time. This
Yeah,
is, like,
yeah.
this is the weird thing, is that Austin's the young whippersnapper, so I always kind of expect him to be like, come on, guys, let's go, let's up and at 'em, right? And
That's
I
me.
I expect to commiserate with you, Leon, about how being tired is just life now, but it's the other way around.
Austin has made choices that have made him tired, though.
I don't know that that's entirely true. I think Austin is just a tired boy.
No, I feel like he would be less tired if he were not in law school.
But this is the thing, is that we both have known Austin prior to his entry into law school, and I seem to recall him being tired then as well.
Yes, but less grumpy.
Do you remember not being tired, Austin? Do you remember that?
Yep, it was high school, probably freshman year, and I just slept whenever I wanted to because I was on the football team and nobody said a shit.
Yeah, I want to say like 12.
Oh,
You know?
Aw,
Yeah.
you were so little.
I was little when I was 12. Yes.
Were you still ripped?
yeah.
Were you still Cal Ripken Jr.?
No, I was not Cal Ripken. I was not even Cal Ripken Sr.
Well,
Okay, so do you guys want to
I say that having no idea what Cal Ripken Sr. looked like. Sorry,
Yeah, we're gonna
you
Google it.
sound like you have a topic. Let's go.
he probably looked a lot like Cal Ripken Jr., but older.
I'm sorry, I'm Googling. So, you guys keep talking.
I bet he does. I mean, we're not going to find Cal Ripken Sr. and he says, this looks nothing like him. I suspect something.
It's possible. I mean, who's to say that Cal Ripken Sr. is Cal Ripken Jr.'s actual father?
I mean, he is. I'm on his Wikipedia page now, and Cal Ripken Sr. is giving me the fucking blue steel on this motherfucker. He's this guy. He's got very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? He's got, like, the silver fox thing going on in this black and white picture. I recommend it.
Piercing?
Yeah.
Is he...
He's got that old-timey look. Like, they're both they're a lot. They're extra. Do you guys want to do a show this week? I feel like, obviously, none of that's staying in.
I mean, I have something I briefly want to talk about, but it's not so much like a topic as it is an anecdote.
Okay, so undersell, over-deliver. Good start.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. I'm looking at what I believe is the same picture that you were looking at, Austin, of Cal Ripken Sr. And he's not smiling, but he's giving me this face that's like, I can make you happy.
Yeah, it's very, like, low-key but confident fuck eyes.
Yeah. Like, it's like he's not showing off, but you get this feeling just looking at him that he doesn't need to.
Yeah, it's it's not a big deal, but he'll fuck you.
He's just casually awesome.
Okay, what's your anecdote?
It's actually related to what I was talking about earlier. I went to the gym the other day, and this literally happened. I was on the treadmill, and there are like 8 televisions in front of me. I usually don't watch them because they're on mute, and I have my headphones. And Space Jam came on, and I was like, today this is gonna be a good day. Space Jam just started as I pressed start on the machine. It's like it knew, and then 2 televisions over, there's another television, and Michael Jordan is on it, but it has nothing to do with Space Jam. It's just a thing about like an era on CNN, and Michael Jordan was on there. And I was like, and for a second I was like, did Michael Jordan just die? Is that what happened? On my way to the gym, did Michael Jordan die, and everyone decided to put, Michael Jordan related things on their program? But no, that's not what happened. It was just a weird coincidence. And then, and you're gonna think I'm making this up, someone walked into the gym wearing a tank top of Space Jam.
Yeah, I mean, this is when you told us on Twitter. I thought, well, this is a good argument for like solipsism.
It's like
Everything
like,
came together just so.
It's Leon's world. We're all just kind of living in it.
Look, that is weird. Come on. Look, I understand like strange coincidences happen every day, but like the Space Jam of coincidences, that was like a triple threat.
Yeah,
all at the exact same moment.
If this was within like a month or 2 of the theatrical release of Space Jam, that's one thing. It's 2017.
Right, I know. That's what I mean. It's like, who likes Space Jam besides myself and one of my Twitter followers who occasionally talks to me about it?
I mean, a lot of people. It's a pretty successful film. It's just unlikely that everyone thought to
but it was
rep
a
it
long
at the same
time ago. It's long past like pop culture. You know, it's. I mean, they are making a sequel. So there is that. I don't, like I said, there is no point to the story.
Yeah.
It's just that was weird.
So, I mean, we're going to have to give it a point. So, like, every couple of days, like, somebody, just one person, not everybody, like, tweet at Leon and be like, you have to wake from their Space Jam coma. Your family misses you. Please come out of it. And then we'll all just gaslight you for, like, I don't know, until we get bored. A couple weeks.
I know you're joking, but that's literally impossible because my mentions only show me people who I follow.
Damn.
When they talk to me.
He's on that big league shit now, Johnny.
Congratulations.
Sorry,
You've advanced to the next level of Twitter.
I'm sorry, but at some point it was just like, there's too many Nazis.
Next stop, Blue Checkmark City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Nazis ruin everything.
They're a lot.
They are. Okay, that was the dumb thing I wanted to talk about. Austin, do you have anything meaningful you would like to say to us and also the world?
I mean, I do recommend everyone just to take a look at Cal Ripken Sr.
Oh, yes.
That's suddenly become very important to me. I have cases this week, including one, and I think this is the first time ever, where I literally just want to read part of the opinion to you guys, like literally from the judges, because it's, well, you'll see.
Okay.
Are we jumping right into that?
Yeah, well,
all
listen.
right, let's go.
You'll see why. So this is from the opinion from a case called Microstar versus FormGen. This is an opinion by...
Can I just say, first of all, before you continue on, that I'm a big fan of both of those names.
Yeah, they're very good.
And I really hope this is a case about two new wave bands from the 1980s.
Yeah. This is an opinion issued by Circuit Judge of the Ninth Circuit, the Honorable Judge Kaczynski, and he begins his opinion this way. Duke Nukem routinely vanquishes Octobrain and the Protozoid Slimer, but what about the dreaded Microstar? That's the opening sentence.
This is you've got me. I'm hooked. I am wrapped.
Is Duke Nukem on trial?
I am wrapped with attention here.
Did they get him?
FormGen Inc. made, distributed, and owns the rights to Duke Nukem 3D, an immensely popular and very cool computer game. Duke Nukem 3D is played from the first-person perspective. The player assumes the personality and point of view of the title character, who is seen on the screen only as a pair of hands and an occasional boot, much as one might expect to see oneself in real life, without the aid of a mirror.
Can I just say in defense? Can I say in defense that when Duke Nukem 3D came out, it was very cool?
Yeah, I should have said this is from an opinion from 1998.
Because we have to, I feel that we have to properly distance this, because I'm sure there are many listeners that we have who their only exposure to Duke Nukem will have been Duke Nukem Forever, which was not very cool. In fact, was not even mildly cool.
So you're saying if Judge Kaczynski wrote this opinion in the year of our Lord 2015, or whenever the hell Duke Nukem Forever came out, it'd be like, Duke Nukem is a real lame game with some gross rape jokes. No one should play it.
Yeah, probably. Unless, like, at the end of that sentence, it was like, bracket, unless we're talking about Duke Nukem 3D, which was a very cool game, but sadly has not aged too well, as first-person shooters from the 1990s are wont to do.
I'm a little. I'm gonna have to contradict the judge here a little bit. I don't know that we assume the personality of Duke Nukem by playing Duke Nukem. We assume basically his eyes and his hand and sometimes his boot, as he mentioned.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like when I played Duke Nukem, any of the Duke Nukem games, that I was like, I sure do know what it feels like to be Duke Nukem. I have bad opinions about things.
I don't know. I sort of feel like because of the limit of your interactions with the universe being shoot things, kick things, or like give money to strippers, that's probably how Duke Nukem sees the world. That it's like, these are the three things that I can do with the things around me, is shoot them, kick them, or give money to them for booby shakes. So in that sense, it is kind of like we are assuming the persona of Duke Nukem. It's just that we are doing so by being limited in our ability to interact with the world, except in the way that Mr. Nukem sees fit.
Deep.
Deep.
What was? I'm sorry, we interrupted. What was next after this, Austin?
Oh, I mean, it goes on for a while. One of my favorite sentences is, "The goal is to zap them before they zap you."
Okay,
that
wait a
is the
minute.
goal.
What? I mean, yeah, if you're using one of the weapons, but I feel like there are a lot of weapons. I mean, you don't just zap them.
Are you gonna disagree with Ninth Circuit Judge, the Honorable Judge Kaczynski? Because I think those are fighting words.
Sorry, J-Kaz.
You better lawyer up, Leon.
I'm going to have to say that, I mean, I remember Duke Nukem 3D, and here it is, me talking about a video game, so that's a thing.
Got him.
And,
trap is sprung.
And the grenade launcher was my favorite to play against other people.
I
that was fun.
liked the shrink ray, personally.
Okay. I mean, you zapped people with that.
You did, and I loved zapping people.
Maybe the judge was showing his bias towards the shrink ray in his statement, as if to say, only use the shrink ray.
Mm-hmm. Might have been.
Could have been, yeah. I mean, we're learning a lot about this judge, even though all I know is his last name. So what was this even about? I mean, I know what it's about, but what was it about?
Okay, so the case is that Duke Nukem 3D came with a level creator, which is pretty standard in this day and age. But back in the day, someone put a bunch of their custom levels made in the level creator on a disc and tried to sell it, and so the Duke Nukem rights holders sued them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the case.
Okay. Who? I mean, we only heard the judge fanboying about Duke Nukem. What was like the decision like?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I brought this to you for you guys to take a guess, as is the structure of this segment of our show.
Right.
So MicroStar would be the company that was selling the map pack. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Company is one. It's like a guy.
Yeah, I know, but MicroStar absolutely not. No, you. There's not a chance you would get away with that. Because you are repackaging a game that they have made. Just because you design levels doesn't mean you have the rights to the character, the engine, the weapons, like everything. And the moment that you try to profit off of that, that's when you're stepping on somebody else's intellectual property. If you make maps and you pass them around, yeah, you're allowed to do that. But the moment that you try and sell a map pack and the company does not get a cut of that, that's Troubletown. So no dice, champ.
Two things here. I don't know enough about the medium, especially today, to give like the best opinion on this. But is it? I have heard that people do make mods of, like, say, Skyrim, and some of them sell them. Am I wrong about that?
The paid mod Skyrim thing was a short-lived experiment.
Oh, okay.
It was, and it was official too. It actually ran through storefronts that sell Skyrim, like Steam basically, and Bethesda Softworks kind of came to an agreement, and they were like, "Let's try and actually get it so that some modders can be paid for their work." There was a big explosion of ill-informed opinions and angry people who all said, "This is outrageous!" And it stopped, I think, pretty much within a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, I would have to say, based on this information, if people can't even do it now, I would have to assume.
Well, they did do it now. It was just unpopular.
I know, but like they did try to do it now, and it didn't work, and it was like a rare occurrence. The fact that it was an incredibly rare occurrence makes me think that the small, finger quotes company did not win.
And again, Leon, this is the important part, is that experiment actually involved an official storefront and the owner of the intellectual property, Bethesda Softworks. Right. They got together and said, I think we can do this and help modders out and pay them for their work. As opposed to Johnny-come-lately standing on a street corner and going, "Hey, do you want some fresh Duke Nukem 3D maps?"
Yeah, I mean, it's funny now looking back on this case because the modding scene is whole gargantuan thing. It's like how a lot of people get jobs in the industry is by modding existing stuff kind of as their resume, and no one charges for it. And the one time they tried, it was like a huge news story that dominated the news cycle for like a month. So yeah, looking back, it's kind of funny that someone just thought they could get away with this.
Okay.
But
I would. Well, then, yeah. Based on all of this, I would say, yeah, the tiny company that tried to do map packs for money didn't win and lost. But I would also say, like, this seems really short-sighted of the company, because I would be like, oh, let's hire this guy, and then we'll take ownership of the product. But we'll have this person like make map packs, and then
that is the way it happens a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny story, Leon. Gearbox Software got their start designing a mod for the original Half-Life. I can't remember the first one. It wasn't Blue Shift.
Was Opposing Forces?
Yeah, Opposing Force. And Valve was like, "Hey, we really like what you're doing," and they sold it as a product. Like an official Half-Life endorsed product. Counter-Strike was originally a free mod that you could download, and Valve was like, "Oh, hey, we really like what you're doing." What was the other one I'm thinking of? Yeah, even Doom. The original Doom and Doom 2. There are editions of Doom and Doom 2 called like Master Levels of Doom and stuff like that. And these are maps made by the community maps that id Software put in a package and like resold and like did revenue sharing and stuff like that. So this stuff does happen. It's just sort of like, it's when you try and cut the company that owns the game out of it, that's when people tend to get a little itchy. That's when, you know, that's when you're shaving against the grain, if you know what I mean.
Okie dokie. So, are we in fact correct, Austin?
Yeah. Yes. Duke, you cannot make your own Duke Nukem game.
Damn shame.
Yeah. It's funny because
you can. All right. But you can't sell it.
Yeah, fair. Well, it's just because user-generated content is like an enormous, like Minecraft is like everybody just doing kind of weird, cool skins for their stuff. Little Big Planet is like the whole thing. Like it's totally accepted. But no one assumes that they can sell their stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously you can't make your own Duke Nukem game and try to sell it. And actually, the opinion you guys were joking about how he seemed like he was hedging in favor of Duke Nukem because it seemed like he really liked it. But like that's actually the way the case reads. Seriously, it seems like he's a big fan, and it comes down to like you can't just use the character. Come on, it's very weirdly written.
Bro, I can't accept this as canon, Duke.
Yeah. He's very invested in protecting that IP. A related case is, and I'm going to mispronounce this, but that might make it funnier, Louis Galoob Toys versus Nintendo of America.
I remember Galoob.
Galoob.
Yeah, that is how you say it.
Okay. So if you guys might remember back in the day, there was a company called
Galoob.
Galoob. And they made something called the Game Genie. Which is something...
I remember.
Yeah.
I think I still have the Game Genie for my Sega Genesis.
Oh, shit.
But I'm breaking the law, son.
Breaking the law.
Maybe not, but...
They made one for the NES, which allowed you to cheat. And Nintendo was like, "Nuh-uh-uh. Don't do that." And then they sued them. And that's the whole story. What do you guys think about that? It's pretty simple. It's copyright is a Game Genie copyright infringement because you can.
It's not really. I want to say.
Yeah, I mean they're not selling you the game. They're selling you codes to the game. I don't know if that's just. I don't feel like that's the same thing because
it's like somebody selling a stand for your Nintendo. Where it's like you could be much more comfortable when you look at it. You know, it's an accessory.
See, I wonder if you guys have an advantage on this because it seems so obvious to us as people in the video game industry, but I can tell you as someone who's in a copyright class, normies have a hard time differentiating between user-generated levels and game genies, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh, they both mess with the code and new stuff comes out, right?
But I mean, like, provided that you have a lawyer, I would assume that is able to distinguish one between the other and actually explain that.
Yeah.
Then, because I guess it's not tremendously difficult to explain this to people, because you could just be like, okay, well, imagine you're watching television, right? Mm-hmm. And your television, for whatever reason, doesn't show the color green very well. And you're like, man, I wish my TV was a little more green. And Galoob comes along and says, hey, we have a TV greenifier. Mm-hmm. So, you're not changing the program. You're just changing the way that it's presented to you to get a little bit more green out of it. Now, is that illegal? I love the color green, don't you?
Yeah, green isn't a crime. But like my professor was like asking people like, well, what if you modified an arcade cabinet? Because there's a case where somebody, I think whoever owned the copyright to Galaga, I guess, sued because someone went in and did some stuff with the actual like inner guts of the cabinet and made it play differently, and they lost that suit. The Galaga people won, and he was like trying to like talk about like video games as a separate thing, and he was like, it was clear that he was trying to make it like baby's first ludonarrative dissonance conversation. And eventually I listen, I don't like to be that guy, but at a certain point I just jumped in there and I just did the damn thing.
It's okay. It's okay, Austin. You can be that guy every now and again.
Yeah. And so like he was trying we were talking about Donkey Kong, and I was like, so Donkey Kong is a story about a guy trying to save a girl from a monkey. But if you're very good at it, it's about a guy who does a bunch of sweet flips and climbs ladders. And if you're bad at it, it's a story about someone who gets pummeled to death by barrels repeatedly. And that's because of ludonarrative dissonance. And I was explaining that, and he's like, so this is like the first time anyone in the class has ever gotten it, because apparently it's like a higher level thing to be able to think about video games like that. And obviously to us, not that big a deal. But for regular people, I guess, non-dweebazoids, the difference between Game Genie and user-created content, mods, essentially, is a little fuzzier. But I think you guys have a pretty good idea how this shakes out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm sort of cheating on this question, because I know that Game Genie still remained a thing for a little while, and then there were other things just like Game Genie that came out later. So one would assume that precedent was set that this was okay, like Game Shark. As I
remember
recall.
Game Shark.
I had a Game Shark.
I didn't have it, but I was aware of its existence later.
The weird cheats that you got when you moved to the CD systems were kind of funky, weren't they? Where it was like, put this CD in first, and then stop it in the middle, and then whisper the code phrase, midnight, where train tracks cross. And
you basically had to trick it into opening up some like menus, and so you could futz with like the inner spreadsheets. It was like some real dark voodoo. And nowadays,
that was some weird shit.
We just have like cheat engine and stuff. It's super easy, and none of it's illegal because it does not create a copyright infringing derivative work. It's really just changing how you interface with it, like your TV greenification example, or the thing I said in class, which is like just choosing to read the pages out of order, or maybe you just draw some new words in there. Like, no one can stop you from how you choose to enjoy the thing you legally purchased.
Yeah. A good rule of thumb for me is that once money is involved, then everything changes.
Yeah, if you used a Game Genie to permanently change something and then you tried to mass produce and sell it, then you'd probably be in trouble.
Yeah.
So yeah, that comes out in favor of Nintendo, or not in favor of Nintendo, in favor of Galoob. Galoob. I just didn't want to say Galoob again.
How can you not want to say Galoob?
I don't.
Very nice.
It's so much fun. It is like it's syllables that don't belong together.
Yeah.
Galoob.
My mouth rejects it on principle. A couple other quick ones, because I don't think we have that much to talk about this week. UMG Recording versus Augusto is the name of this. I don't know why I told you that. It doesn't matter. So Universal Music Group sent out review CDs to like music reviewers and radio stations, hoping for them to play them. And on the packages, all these CDs said not for resale, but people sold them anyway.
Yeah,
sure.
And I guess somebody from UMG saw one of them on eBay and sued the guy. Is that it's just it's all of these are copyright, because I'm taking a copyright class. So is that an infringement if someone gives you their intellectual property, their copyrighted protected intellectual property, which says not for resale, and you resale it.
What? I'm sorry. What exactly did this person own?
So the Universal Music Group, it's a record label, sent out CDs being like, here's the new hotness, it's the new sound you've been looking for. Or they just send out CDs and they say not for resale. It's like not the final version you would buy at a record store. And they say not for resale, and they just appear in the mail.
Sorry, but like you gave someone something. You didn't sign. If you signed a contract that there was like some sort of non-disclosure agreement about letting other people listen to it or something, then maybe that would be a thing.
No, I mean they wanted you to play it on their
right. You gave someone something and said, "Hey, don't sell it to anyone." It's changed hands. It's over. What are you talking about?
See, you say that, but there's the other case that I wasn't going to explain, but now I guess I will, is one called Werner versus Autodesk, where, do you know AutoCAD? We talked about this like once on the show before we did WordFunk, I think, because I know how to use AutoCAD. AutoCAD's like an engineering, and like, it's a program. It's very expensive. Right. And somebody sold their copy on eBay, and Autodesk, the company that owns AutoCAD, sued them, and Autodesk won that one.
Yeah, but when you
but that's a software license. That's a license to use.
Yeah. Also, when you boot up any new piece of software, it's like these are the terms, and then you have to click agree.
Yeah.
But
you guys are so smart. You're so sharp.
Yeah, I mean there is that. So you literally did sign a deal with them about that. Whereas I don't think the CD in the mail came with a contract that you had to send back by fax, and then they give it back to you, and then you can give a code to unlock the songs on the CD. So I assume they just sent them a bunch of CDs.
Yeah, I sort of feel like I feel like if the CDs were unsolicited, if they just got mailed out, then not a chance.
Yeah.
It can say not for resale as much as it wants, but that's more of a suggestion than an instruction, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the guy who sold the CD was fine, but the guy who did the software thing and violated terms of service was not.
I sort of feel like I want to know how much money they spent trying to track down a guy that sold a CD that said not for resale on it, because that sounds like a huge waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, you guys crushed it. That's definitely how it works. It's not a contract if someone just sends you something in the mail, and those there are
unless they send you a contract in the mail.
Yeah, in which case you do have to accept it and send it back. Not all software licenses are binding, and that's a whole kettle of fish unto itself. But the kind of click wrap things where it's clear that you're agreeing to something, and the Autodesk thing is also a slam dunk when everyone knows you have to pay the several $1,000s to use AutoCAD.
Money's involved.
Yeah, it's a very expensive program. So yeah, I mean, you guys nailed that. The only other cases that might be interesting is we talked about like some music stuff, which is always I just like to talk shit about various musical things. It's not even about the law half the time. It's just like, you remember that time Vanilla Ice got fucking dunked on? That was pretty cool.
Which time?
Yeah,
by Queen and David Bowie. Yeah. That Roy Orbison sued 2 Live Crew one time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know that one.
Because they did a...
I mean, I know who they are, but I don't know why.
Because they did a parody of Oh Pretty Woman.
Oh.
And he didn't like it. Or I guess his estate, I don't know if he was alive at the time.
And then there was that time that Tom Waits sued a French circus.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Now it's your turn for Law Corner. What happened?
No. Last year, Tom Waits sued. In the first place, Tom Waits is notoriously litigious.
Didn't he sue the Flaming Lips?
I don't know if he sued the Flaming Lips. He's often very forgiving of other musicians and things like that doing his music. What he does not like is people using his music for commercial purposes. So for example, there are entire CDs of people doing, Scarlett Johansson released a CD of Tom Waits covers, and she wouldn't be the only one either. Like, the Ramones have covered Tom Waits, and fucking, I don't even know who else, but a lot of people have covered Tom Waits, and he's very permissive about that. But he has gone after advertising companies for using songs that sound just a little too like him. But yeah, last year at some point in time, I want to say it was like the end of the summer or something like that, this French circus that had a show called like They Shoot Angels, Don't They, or something like that, had like 16 Tom Waits songs in it, and he was like, no.
That's a very timely reference to classic novel They Shoot Horses, Don't They?
Well, it was
literally no one remembers exists besides me, I think.
It was no, it's because it's a horse circus.
Okay,
is the but yeah, so he got into a legal battle with a French circus because they used like 16 of his songs, and he was like, maybe you can use like one or two, but 16, like, come on, man.
It was Cat Stevens.
My action.
It was Cat Stevens who sued the Flaming Lips. BT Dubs.
Oh.
Do you guys want one more?
Sure.
Okay, so there's actually a couple cases that are very similar, so I'm just going to kind of conflate them. But back before Blockbuster was like the way cassette or VCR rentals were done, people tried a couple different other models. One of them was you would go into the store and they would rent you the stuff there, and you watch it in a private room in the store, because the way that copyright works is that you can't publicly broadcast copyrighted works, but you can privately do it. So that's why like you can rent things in your own home. So this company was basically saying like, come in, because remember before Blockbuster was the thing everyone accepted. It's like there wasn't really a precedent for that. Like you went to the movies if you wanted to watch a movie. So this is one of the models they tried. You went in and you watched it there.
Which is rather like going to the movies, if you ask me.
Yeah, very similar. And so I think Columbia Pictures is the one that I'm going to focus on. They sued this company called Ovico for this practice. Do you guys think that's copyright infringement?
What?
I'm trying to figure out how Columbia, if Columbia was getting like a cut of this, like of these tape sales. And
well, Avico would buy a tape, right? And
so they would buy a tape and then just sell the right for somebody to watch it.
They would rent the tape out. It's like very much like Blockbuster. But
I know, but Blockbuster, you don't just buy a tape. Blockbuster would not just buy a tape. They would buy the kind of like the rights to a rental tape.
Yeah, some of that stuff would develop later, though. At this time, I think they were just buying tapes and then renting them out. And you come into the store and you rent it and you go sit in a room and you watch it and then you go home.
I sort of feel like this would be one of those defining moments where they'd be like, well, there has to be a special dispensation. You can't just buy a tape and then like have somebody pay you money to watch it, because that's not really.
I want to be clear though. The copyright suit they're bringing is that the infringement is a public performance.
Okay, then no. That doesn't jive. But does it? I guess it does.
Just one more thing. Just like hold on.
Because it's not like, I feel like it would sort of be different if it was like you were going in and renting a space, and it was like, yeah, I'm using this room. And then the people who are coming in are like friends, and we are going to watch a movie. But if it's just like anybody could get in, it was like, oh yeah, I want to see that movie, and you all go in and pile in, then I guess it would be public, wouldn't it? God, that depends. Ooh, that's close. That cuts such a close line. Ooh.
I'm literally not going to answer because I have no idea. I'm just enjoying listening to Johnny mull this over.
Is it really that hard, Leon?
Like I don't know. Like,
what if you're on the jury though?
It's so bizarre to me. Okay, so there's this guy and he has like a store, I guess, and he has tapes of movies that he bought legally.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Is
the
it,
service...
just imagine the store's called Blockbuster, but stay here.
All right. So here's the question:
right.
Are you buying a seat to a viewing,
Uh-huh.
or are you renting the tape? Are you saying, "Hey, I'll pay you $5 if you lend me that tape for a couple hours," and then walking into a room and just watching it, and then coming back and being like, "Here's your tape, thanks."
That is a good question. It's almost not like the deciding thing. It's kind of just like there's a rental fee, and it's just assumed everything is there. The question is like, is this a public performance to watch a movie in a room in someone else's business establishment?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So basically, what I'm saying is,
Basically.
that if he's like, oh yeah, at like 8:00, we're gonna watch Die Hard. If you want to give me $5, you can sit in. Or if you walk in at like, I don't know, 1:12 in the afternoon, it'd be like, I'd really like to watch Die Hard. And he's like, here it is, that'll be $5. Because if it's the latter, then I'm saying Ovico Didio Rodeo Drive.
Yeah, that's him.
Got away with it. But if it's the prior, where it's like, yeah, we're going to watch Die Hard, pay me and you can watch it, then that's no dice.
So between your two, it would be the first one you explained. It's basically Blockbuster's model. It's not like they scheduled it.
Okay, all right then. So that's the latter then, because if the first one is like
you gave the options in one order and then you explained them in the other order. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Remember. So the one that is less like a movie theater then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, then that Dorito Drive.
Yep.
I think they were okay. I think they got away with that.
To me, it just sounds like Blockbuster the way you're describing it. Just you can't leave the store.
It's exactly like Blockbuster, except you can't leave the store. Yeah.
Right. To me, here's what I think. I think
that sounds terrible.
I feel like it shouldn't be any different from Blockbuster.
That's like the premise for a horror movie. Sorry to cut you off, but it's like Blockbuster, but you can never leave. It's like the tagline of a horror movie.
You know the old Jean-Paul Sartre play that's like takes place in hell, and it's like the three old friends that can't leave. That's sort of like hell is a room with other people in it. That comes from. I sort of feel like if you tack on instead of. Also it happens in a Blockbuster video. That's like,
Here's what I think. I feel like the big company, Columbia, I feel like they won, even though they shouldn't have, because I remember Blockbuster was sued for the same thing. So one would assume that they would think we can win again this time. So I'm going to say that Columbia won, even though I don't feel like they should have.
Okay, so Leon says big company. Johnny says the thing that makes logical sense. Surprise, big company wins.
Yeah,
which is why
because they sued Blockbuster for the same exact thing. I just know Blockbuster won that time because it remained a thing.
Which is why Blockbuster was a model and the Avico was not. Because if you take something home and watch it in your house, that is a private performance. And if you watch it somewhere that is open to the public, that is a public performance. And the example they use in the opinion is like a public restroom is not a private space, even though you don't expect someone to just barge into your stall. It is open to the public. And in the same way, you could be in a private Avico viewing room and an Avico employee can just walk in if they want to. Someone off the street could, if they really wanted to. Like, there's nothing stopping them.
But if you if you rent a hotel room.
And we talked about this exact thing in class, and the way hotels work is you license certain property rights from the property owner. So one of the rights of property ownership is the right of exclusion, which you can keep you as the licensee have the ability to exclude people from the property you're licensing. If you rent a video from Avico, you do not gain a license over the property in such a way as to be able to exclude other people.
Unless you get a business license for it.
God, I just want to watch Die Hard so
and it
bad.
becomes Ovico Video's Jerry Maguire Emporium and Bed and Breakfast.
Yeah.
Show me the money.
I don't know if the hotel thing is that much different, even though the legality is, because like people come into my hotel room all the time, even when I tell them not to. Like the room, the people who clean the room come in even when I put the thing on that says don't.
Yeah.
So
well, we call that illegal fiction. Like it may not be actually true, but the idea on paper is that you have the ability to exclude cleaning staff because you can put a thing on your door which says don't come in.
Yeah, and it's just doesn't. But yes, I see what you're saying. Okay, so I won all of them today. All right, I got them all.
Gotta win them all, Leon.
Yeah.
Fit right perfectly. Slipped that right into the rhyme scheme. Nobody noticed.
Yep. It has nothing to do with my knowledge of law, and everything to do with my knowledge of like what happened in the 80s and 90s and what came later with both video games and this.
You've got that lived a long time bonus.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stop talking for a while. You guys carry the torch into question time. Here you go. Take it.
I know Johnny wants to hear this.
Ooh.
Johnny, I watched the first episode of season 3 of Twin Peaks.
Na, na, na,
Yeah.
na. All right. So
as
does that mean that you finished Twin Peaks in all its olden day glory?
Yeah, I watched seasons 1 and 2 of Twin Peaks and also Fire Walk with Me.
So
and,
can we just very briefly touch on Twin Peaks Classic, because I feel like this is a moment.
Okay.
All right, because for years, for the years that you and I have known each other, and both been very not shy about being avowedly big fans of David Lynch's work. I have never quite been able to grasp the fact that you never watched Twin Peaks.
Yeah, it was for new listeners who are like, "What?" But I've explained this before. It seemed for a long time that David Lynch was just done making movies and TV shows. I was like, "Oh, there's so little David Lynch for me left. I should probably ration this out over the next 10, 20 years." And that was going fine until he said, "I'm making more stuff." And then I was like, "All right, I'll watch Twin Peaks now. I mean, why not?" So I did. I watched it all. I rather liked most of it.
That is the appropriate reaction.
Yeah. I liked most of it. It was, on the whole, quite good. I enjoyed it. I liked the characters. I didn't. You know what? Let me rephrase that. I liked some characters. There are a lot of characters who I not only disliked, but I genuinely wish were just not part of the show, or not part of the show much, because there were all these subplots in season 2 where I was like, this has nothing to do with why I started watching this. Mm-hmm. No, like, I don't care about you and all the bad hair.
But the mill.
Yeah. God, fuck. I'm sorry, but fuck that mill, and fuck anything that happened just outside of Twin Peaks. Or like, I'm gonna go on my motorcycle and meet a woman who I don't know, and she's gonna have
me
sex
for
with
murder.
Me, and I'm a teenager, and that's weird. There's a lot of that. In fact,
Yep.
that was like the weirdest part of the show. I'm sorry, but I don't know why people were okay with that. Where it's like, Agent Cooper was like, well, I won't romantically get involved with this girl who is in her senior year of high school, which is good. I mean, good, don't, Dale. But like the fact that they spent a lot of time focusing on the fact that he really wanted to was like, no, like, come on, don't. Why is this a thing?
Or like,
I don't care.
Or like the middle-aged woman who goes back to school.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a joke.
Yeah.
That she's bumping groins with a high school senior.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I know but in some states is gonna jump out in the comment section. First of all, I don't care about your gross rationalization. Number one. And number two, whether they're 18 or not, to me, like, isn't even like the issue here. The issue is like the people who are maybe interested are like in not just adults, but in positions of authority in such a way that it is wildly inappropriate, especially Dale Cooper.
But did you know in Japan, some people have a wildly misaccurate representation of how consent laws work?
But yeah, like
also,
like,
why are we beating around the bush? Like, Lynch has fucking got a fetish. Like, why? It's okay.
Well, this is the thing.
He
is
didn't
that actually,
write all of that. He didn't write all of that.
It's a
by
theme.
that
It's a
point
theme in
time,
his work.
especially too. The second season, he did not have a lot to do with it because by second season of Twin Peaks, he had sort of run off to go do Wild at Heart.
Yeah, that's sort of what I mean. I've seen all of David Lynch's movies. There's some weird stuff in there, because but this was the most of that in the second season of Twin Peaks, and he was not really that big into second season of Twin Peaks. So
I honestly think that the writers mostly just kind of forgot. And they just started shipping characters, you know?
Yeah, because all the actors and actresses were like well into their 20s, obviously. So they must not have like realized maybe they didn't realize what the hell they were doing, but they still did it.
I mean, you guys are aware that like the Dale Cooper Audrey thing was actually supposed to happen, but then his real life girlfriend made them not do it, right? Like behind the scenes. Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Someone had some sense. All right. So anywho, but weird, gross stuff aside. Yes, I do like Twin Peaks. It was good. I rather liked Fire Walk with Me, although it is tonally completely different from the series. But that's fine. That
was one of the things is that I was saying, you can probably skip the movie. If you're going on to season 3, I was like, you probably don't have to do the movie. That's a lot of retreading, and then I started watching the third season. I was like, nope, okay, watch the movie. It's necessary.
Yeah, the third and jumping into the third season, it's like it's sort of a mishmash of the at least the first episode again is sort of it's like there's some really really dark stuff, and then there's classic Twin Peaks goofy stuff too.
Yeah.
So like I said, I haven't gotten very far. I watched the first episode. I will watch the rest that are available within the next couple days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there like I only know that the old cast is back. And you mentioned Matthew Lillard, so I know that he was going to be in it.
Yes.
But I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, and the security guard shows up. I'm like, what? Is Michael Bisping in this show? And I was like, okay, I mean, good. For those who don't know, Michael Bisping is the UFC middleweight champion of the world. So I was thrown off by the fact that he doesn't belong here. But his one line was fine, I guess. Yeah, that's basically what I want to say about the new Twin Peaks. I'm sure we will both have more thoughts as the season progresses.
Michael Cera appears in episode 4.
Okay.
And
I'll get ready for that.
It's amazing.
Okay. Don't tell me anything more.
I'm not saying anything else, but it is one of my favorites.
Okay, cool. Okie dokie. Anything you want to talk about this week, Johnny? I feel like I had like a couple dumb things, and Austin had serious stuff that we made funny. And anything interesting happened to you this week?
I played Star Trek Bridge Crew on my Oculus Rift last night.
How did that go?
Did you finger guns at all your officers?
I did.
Hell yeah.
I did do that. I also dabbed on the bridge of the starship.
What? I'm sorry, I don't understand what's happening. What are you talking about?
I dabbed on.
No, I learned what that was only recently, but
yes.
I don't. But why?
I think it was because I had just successfully completed a portion of a mission.
Oh.
And I was like, I have to find a way to express myself in a celebratory manner on the bridge. But I was only playing single player because I was trying to like acclimatize myself to the system.
So that was only for you.
So it was only for me. It was a very personal moment. But I dabbed. And,
can you imagine Picard dabbing?
Yep. Please
imagine it for me.
Yep. Sci-fi, deep future diplomatic dabbing is what it was. And that's interesting. That's kind of like a sort of a fanboy like moment. playing a Star Trek game in VR.
Good for you.
It is fun. It is interesting. I'm actually really interested in poking into the multiplayer once I get a little bit more familiar with the systems, because there's a lot, in terms of, and you just can't bark orders either at the AI. You have to look over at them and press a button and be like, I need full power to the shields, and then look at your helm and be like, I need you to pursue the target, and then you have all the buttons on your captain chair works. And there's a red alert button, which is a shame because I would really love to be able to just yell red alert, but that shit doesn't happen. And when you play single player, you can't just tell people engage when you want to move to warp, which makes me sad. But I said, I'll get into the multiplayer, I hope, soon enough, and give that a shot. But it's fun. I mean, it's on the bridge of a Federation starship. It's pretty wee.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I quite like it. I get the impression that it's not as deep as some people would like a Star Trek game to be, which is a common problem for Star Trek video games, because it's a pretty varied series insofar as that, there's a lot of character drama, but then there are small moments of action and tension, and it runs the whole gamut, There's even weird, Counselor Troy fell asleep and she's having nightmares episode, which kind of skirts the edge of horror. And then your historical kind of time travel or holodeck episodes and stuff. So it's Star Trek has, I think, notoriously been a really difficult property to just get down in a video game. And so when it comes to Bridge Crew, it's well, obviously there's not going to be any away team missions, and it's very restrictive in terms of how it lets you explore the space, insofar as that if your helmet moves a little too far away from where your chair is centered, the game goes, no, you're out of the chair. You gotta go back. It doesn't let you move around the bridge or anything like that, which is a kind of a disappointing detail. But, it's sort of I understand why they did it, because it's sort of, they wanted it to be Star Trek in this, very simple kind of restrictive way. And it succeeds at that. But it is nonetheless restrictive, At no point in time are you ever going to be time to go to the transporter room, beam down to a planet, and use a tricorder on a plant that's got 5 leaves on it, and one of them's yellow. No, but it's cool. I think it's a neat step towards seeing really top dollar IP in VR, because up till this point in time, so many of the cross promotional VR stuff has been come see the Ghost in the Shell VR experience, where you just sit down for a 4-minute movie and you're that was nothing. Or The Martian, where you sit down for an 8-minute movie and it's not much there. And it's kind of nice to see somebody embracing the presence of Star Trek with its interactivity. Pardon me. Ooh. Oh, cold pressed coffee hiccups. Okay, I'm okay. Yeah, so it's kind of nice to see somebody probably paying quite a lot of money for that Star Trek license and actually making something that fills the space it makes. So I like that. I'm looking forward to playing more of that. Cool. I just wish there were more atmosphere choices, because it by default, and I think for when you finish play the whole single player campaign, you're stuck in J.J. Abrams' Trek.
Oh.
So when I go to warp, it does that weird swirly tunnel thing, instead of the stars kind of going by the screen, and I'm oh, I want classic warp. And then you can unlock the original NCC 1701 bridge, I want a galaxy starship. I want my D.
Yeah.
I need the D.
I believe you.
Yeah. So, but that's fun. I'm enjoying that.
Good.
I don't know that I did anything else this week. My life has remarkably simplified of late. Even when I'm doing exciting things or interesting things, I'm kind of forgetting about. Ooh, I'm going to see Moonface play a concert this weekend.
Great.
I'm excited about that. Austin should be jealous because it's Moonface with Sinai. So I'm hoping I'm going to get to hear some of the stuff off of Heartbreaking Bravery, which is just an absolutely wonderful album. But yeah, I'm excited about that. I haven't been to a concert. I haven't been to a show in ages.
Oh.
And Moonface, Spencer Krug is definitely, without a doubt, probably one of my favorite musicians around. And I did not think I would ever get a chance to see Moonface with Sinai play, because Sinai is a Finnish rock band, and Moonface is a Canadian guy with long hair.
Oh.
So together again in a local establishment, I am going to be there, and I should enjoy it. That's going to be nice. So,
Cool.
Johnny, did you know that Cold War Kids had a new album last month?
Nope.
Me neither, which is weird. I like them. Whatever. I know they're not like popular or mainstream or anything. It just feels weird that I completely missed out on an entire album.
Did you snag it? Have you roped it in yet?
Not yet. I don't know. It's weird because they're like too poppy for like indie cool people, and they're too indie for like popularness. It's a very weird liminal space that they exist in.
Yeah.
So that's not an avenue with like a rich tapestry we can weave. It's just something that occurred to me because I saw that they had a new song, and I was like, really? When did they have a new album? Oh, last month. Oops. Okay. Do you guys want to answer questions?
I do, but right before we do questions, I just want to say this. This is very important.
Okay.
I've mentioned on occasion that I have a friend who sells sex toys and related objects, and it just pops up on my Twitter many times a day because we're friends, and it's like whatever. The one that just popped up. I'm in love with it just because of the facial expressions. I wish I could make this the banner, but you're just gonna have to look it up on Google. But I just can't on YouTube. But the product is called Cherry Flavor Anal Ease, and the guy he looked and as one would expect, the guy looks like he's super into it, and the girl just kind of looks off to the side like. I could take it or leave it. And this is hard. This is hard because this is audio.
How did we never talk about that cuckoldry comic? Did you guys see that when that went viral?
Yeah.
No, what?
That seems like something that we would talk about a lot. There's, I guess it's a sex toy site or something that hosts a comic about like sex positivity, and it's like explaining concepts, and it's supposed to be like fun and non-judgmental. They posted something about cuckoldry.
And what it actually means, because the word cuck has kind of been vibrating around the internet in particular circles of late.
Yeah, and it addresses that. It's like, oh, there's like a racial element, but it doesn't have to be about that. And like they actually tried to address it, but it immediately went viral with people like replacing the text and stuff. Oh. And so there was like 3 days where everybody on my timeline was using it, and it was pretty amazing.
I think the runaway phrase was definitely, Joe, get the fuck out now, I'm gonna fuck your wife. Or, Joe, get the fuck out, I'm gonna fuck your wife now.
Yeah, it's very good.
Oh, okay. I think I have heard of this, yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. That was fun.
Look,
cuckolds!
Sometimes you have to get back to our roots and just, like, talk about sex stuff we're wildly unqualified for. Like, let's just do our own Amazon reviews.
Yeah. Okay, let's do questions.
Yeah, I've been eyeing this one since it came in. It's very important to me that we go through this. Cyretha asks, can you describe your Sonic OC? And if you guys don't know about this, if you type your name into Google and add the Hedgehog, so Leon, you'd write Leon the Hedgehog. Johnny would write Johnny the Hedgehog. Okay. There is absolutely 100% chance that it will come up with a Sonic OC that someone has created. And, believe me, I have looked up Austin the Hedgehog, and I'm looking at him right now.
Is it just like the first one? Because there's a bunch here.
Yeah, well, I mean, Johnny's a pretty...
Yeah? I got a lot of Leons. I'm going to pick this one, because this one is cool.
God.
I think the spirit of it is you're supposed to pick the first one that says Johnny the Hedgehog or Leon.
I'm sorry, but the second one is just too good to not pick.
Yeah, feel free, though. I don't know if you're supposed to do it on web or images. Both are going to be disturbing, so... who wants to go first to describe your Sonic OC? I think the spirit of the question was to make one up, but this is way funnier. Oh god, no, someone just put something in the chat. Ah!
I can't even describe that. That's no.
Johnny, you can't just. You have to explain it to the listeners.
Oh my. I mean, I believe it, by the way.
Oh, jeez.
I mean,
so that is...
This isn't casually ripped. This is something else.
That is the second one. Mm-hmm. Okay, that is the second one, which is why I said, like, without a doubt, that would just be too. That's too much for me to not include there. So, like me, Johnny the Hedgehog is extremely white. And that's probably about where the similarities end.
Pretty good shape.
Yeah, but that's not. There's a disturbing kind of level of that spread eagle position that he's kind of doing right there. Like that looks like a one piece he's got on there.
We're beating around the dick. I'll be frank.
It really is. I mean, that's Johnny's a little too, I think, de-anthropomorphized or overly anthropomorphized.
He's like they glued a white hedgehog head on a picture of like an anatomical drawing of the human body, like all the muscle groups, and then they put like Sonic shoes on him.
Yeah, that's a terrible smash of two drawings right there. Is what that is. That's vaguely disturbing.
Fuck, he got those abs though.
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does.
Mine.
God, we're not doing it justice. Sorry.
The thing is that my legs are actually better than that, though. I have nicer legs than that. His core is much more defined than mine, and his ribs are weird.
Yeah.
Because they're a little high up there. But
okay.
I don't like that.
Mine
not
is
a fan.
The most skeleton meme Leon the Hedgehog I could find. It is he's all black except for yellow streaks in his hair. He has a scythe, but it's red, and there's some sort of symbol on it, and I can't see it close enough. And he also has a spear made of green lightning, I want to say. I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, this is like, hey, look at all of my weird accessories. No, I'm sorry. Leon, you're very try-hard, and you need to stop. Austin's is cute. Oh.
Why are all these Johnny the Hedgehog is ripped?
Yeah.
They know what's up. Austin the Hedgehog is just some fucking British nerd. If you read there's captions on it, which like points to like a Union Jack patch on his jacket. It looks like just like Sonic, but what if he was British? He's not even that different.
Like I'm the first 12 are all kind of like emo, like I'm super cool kind of guy. There's no like nice shy Leon the Hedgehog. They're all just like, yeah, look how Leon I am. It's a lot.
All of my hedgehogs is a very good like autobiography,
Sure.
looking back on the life as you were reincarnated as a bunch of different really edgy hedgehogs.
That was great.
Oh Christ, Sonic's
edgehogs?
I don't know.
We could spend a lot more time on this, but there are probably a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm closing this tab right here. Everything that we ever had this conversation.
Mine also showed up. A Pikachu shows up. I don't know why. The Pikachu is red, white, and blue. I feel like something got mixed up in translation here. Oh well. Ready for next one?
Yeah, we got multiple Kofafe questions.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
is that meme going to be fucking ancient by the time this episode comes out? I feel like it's
probably.
Its half-life has been exquisitely short.
When it happened, I was awake. And I was like, well, I'm going to be up for at least 2 more hours because I have a lot of things to both say and then retweet. But here's the thing. We expended that so much that was everything for just hours. Like nothing else in the world mattered except for that. That hashtag.
We prematurely memed ourselves.
And unfortunately, like, it's now a little tired. It might come back because the press secretary tried to pass, instead of saying like, ugh, you know, only liberal elites with no sense of, you know, with like bad senses of humor care about this, and then moved on. He could have said that, and that would have been fine. But instead, he said, the president and a small group of people know exactly what he meant. And
that makes it sound like some fucking sinister dog whistle, like he's activated the Heliod protocol and we're all fucked. Like, what the hell?
Apparently, everyone in the press pool, like, they laughed. Like, I listened to the audio today. They just, first of all, nobody believed it, of course. But another thing is, like, that's like the thing that people were joking about, he would say, but didn't actually think he would, but then he did. And I was...
It's the only other explanation. Either he fell asleep because he's a fucking old, tired idiot, or it's like a secret message to the fucking underground KKK sleeper cells or something.
Look, he just had a small stroke on the toilet.
I don't know.
That's it.
It's
just
frustrating because it's fucking hilarious in a vacuum and also terrifying in the context of the incompetency.
See, what bothers me the most is that for the past 3 years I have been working intensely on this prog rock concept album about a mediocre guitarist whose hand gets crushed in an accident, and then it gets replaced with this robot hand that makes him like a way better guitarist, and he achieves like fame and success, but always feels as though he's not like that good at guitar because the only reason why he can play is because he's got this like robot hand. So he starts to feel really bad about himself, and it's this whole like huge like operatic prog rock thing I've been writing, and it was going to be called Kofefe. And now I just sort of feel like that's done. Just sort of wasted like the last 2 years of my life. It was like, you know, when I was halfway through writing a book about like virtual reality that people had mistaken as reality, and then The Matrix came out. I was like, well, that's done.
See, that's an interesting artistic impulse. Like, I know that you're joking, but I also have that when some people see something hit it big and they're like, okay, how can we immediately rip this off? Or to me, if anything's even similar, I'm like, well, that ruined it.
Actually, like that Matrix.
No, I know we talked about the Matrix thing. I meant the other one, but yeah.
No, that prog rock album, it's
damn
never gonna see the light of day now.
I wish we could just fucking enjoy ourselves for like a day without the terrifying nature of reality crushing us beneath our own memes.
We had it for like 2 hours. That was a great 2 hours. It was a very important time to me when I just sat there and just stared into my rectangle and everything was funny.
It was a very uneasy humor for me because, like Leon, it was sort of like, that's ridiculous and hilarious. And then, like, the other voice pops in and is like...
I laughed so hard that, like, the apartment right below me, I'm positive I heard them start moving around. Meaning, and this was well past midnight, so I'm pretty sure I woke up their kids. My bad. All right.
Hey, listen. In the nuclear wasteland, that's after society, people will still make jokes, right? That's just human nature. New question. Alejandro Colon asks, is it okay to put pineapple on pizza? And I feel like we haven't broached this. This is a very common podcast question. Do we have strong opinions? This is like the sandwich thing.
I mean, we could sit here and be like, no or yes. It's like, just put whatever you want on your pizza. Like, it's yours.
Fun answer,
it's your
Leon.
Fucking pizza. Just put whatever you want on your pizza. I like it. A lot of people don't. It's not a big deal. Some people put broccoli on their pizza. I don't like it. If you like it, then that's fine. Like that. I mean, that's the real answer to that. If you want to get like a joke answer, like pineapple, like those things that apparently pineapple makes your cum taste weird. Then we can go to Gross Town and we can make jokes. But I hate that people really do have strong opinions on this. Imagine unironic way.
In your mind's eye, Leon, you've been sent back in time. You're trying to scoop Jerry Seinfeld. You want that sweet Seinfeld money. You go up on stage. You're like, what's the deal with airline food? They have to keep the prices down by skipping on the quality. It's not really funny. It's just mathematics and economics.
It's also the fact
that
everybody, you're in the air. Apparently, it does something to the way you taste.
You took my joke and you did the real thing.
Is.
Oh my God, Leon!
Like, who cares?
Why'd the frog cross the road? Frogger jokes, you fucking goobus.
I'm tired of just the weak ass jokes. I'm tired of pineapple on fucking pizza. Like people
hot dogs
like
or sandwiches.
You know what the thing? This is the thing about pineapple on pizza that
I cannot wait.
Johnny, save the bit.
I'm not shitting on this. I'm totally with you, Leon. I'm totally with you that it's like it's your fucking pizza. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. I really don't. But this is like the weird thing. This is the strange thing for me. Okay, if somebody said to me like pineapple pizza, I'm kind of like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever, like pineapple pizza. But if somebody actually said, I think I'm going to have a sandwich, I'm like, okay, what are you going to do with it? They're like, well, I'm thinking maybe, some tomato sauce. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. Like maybe like a little meatball sub. Nah, not meatball. Like, I think ham. Like, do you mean like a salami? Like, nah, ham. Okay, all right. Tomato sauce, ham, bread. Okay, sure. And some pineapple. What? Or like pasta, which is ostensibly bread, basically.
Okay, I'm with you.
Being like, I'm gonna have a bowl of spaghetti. Be like, oh, what are you gonna put in that? Well, obviously tomato sauce. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, all right. Meatballs? Nah, ham.
Listen, I think your hypothetical guy just really likes ham.
Well, maybe, but then like pineapple as well. It's not the ham and the pineapple that I'm like, that's weird. It's the bread and the tomato. Like meeting that, I just like there's a disconnect
Johnny, you
there
low-key have pineapple opinions.
No, I honestly don't. You can do what you want. I'm not a fruit person. We've talked about this. I have like food pollen allergies. Like fruit just doesn't sit well with me. Like yeah. You want pineapple on pizza? You go right ahead. When I'm going through the recipe in my brain. Of trying to come up with this thing that should taste good. I personally would never be capable of making that jump to where I'm like, spaghetti, tomato sauce, ham, pineapple. I could not do that.
First of all, I mean, like I said, I like pineapple on pizza. It's not like my favorite topping on pizza, but I will have it from time to time. I don't know what my favorite is or anything, but but here's the thing: like you mentioned tomato sauce. A lot of people, pineapple on pizza is good because of when you have barbecue sauce instead of.
I tricked you guys into talking about this.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I'm just saying is that when you order a classic Hawaiian pizza, it's tomato sauce, cheese, ham, and pineapple, and I can't. There's a gap there. I feel like there's a step missing. I'm not sure what it is. Making that decision. Having a cheese pizza and then going, I think ham and pineapple would go really well on this. If I hadn't tried it myself, I would think there was something wrong with you.
All things that seemed strange at first had to have someone who said, why not? I mean, we drink like stuff that comes from cows. And who thought of that? And yet it's such a good idea.
I just made my first batch of cold brew coffee for the season, which is like a whole fucking thing. And just like figuring that out, hey, I'm going to take this bean. Watch this, And like I don't again, there's a disconnect there. But yeah, I can't fathom it, but it's good enough.
I'm obsessed with the idea of Leon's stand-up comedy now. Just like him going and doing like normal routines, but then totally no selling the concept of them. So it's like, white people do things in a variety of different ways based on their locality and upbringing and their education level and their religion and culture. And black people also do the same thing. There are some notable differences depending on geography. So
what you're trying to tell me is that like Leon's gonna go back in time and scoop the invention of surrealist stand-up comedy from people like Maria Bamford and like Reggie Watts and stuff like that.
And it's not even like anti-jokes too, right? Because some of that stuff is like, oh, you set up a punchline and then you go somewhere else, and that's also funny. That's not what this is. This is him creating like educational opportunities out of what should be jokes.
And yet somebody on the internet would be like, Leon Thomas is the most vital voice in comedy that we have seen.
I say that already, but I'm wrong. I'm enjoying myself. Oh my gosh. I got a lot of...
I'm sorry, God.
Yeah. A lot of questions about... you guys are old. I don't know if you're aware of the kids these days.
I'm 35
That's
now.
me.
I'm getting there.
Yeah. We'll see if there's anything to talk about here. Toshiro Kuro asks, have you guys ever tried a fidget spinner or fidget cube? Is that not in your demographic? Everybody's into these things. It's the new hotness.
I mean, the fact that people think it should have a demographic is kind of the problem with people thinking about fidget spinners. Most of these fidget...
Yeah, I know it's an autism like thing originally.
I have not used one.
Okay.
I still have all my slap bracelets from the 1990s, and they're good enough for me.
Oh.
Most of them do, actually.
Slap integrity right there.
Well, they're just, thin shards of metal that have kind of been bent a particular way.
That's good.
My generation had tech decks. Are you guys aware of these? This was our thing.
Never in my life.
They were like little skateboards, and you drove on them with your hand, and you made them do like little tricks. Let me Google this. Yeah, there it is. They're just like little, like you make a little man out of your hand, right? Like two fingers or legs, and you just like do skateboard stuff. That was our fidget thingy for our generation.
Seems really pure.
But yeah,
nice. I'm into it.
Yeah, it was. I think they all are, right? Like before that was like what, Pogs?
I don't know.
Pogs?
Pogs was not pure.
No,
and nice.
Pogs was
that got into a lot of like gambling stuff. And people crying, I'm sorry, when you played for keeps. That was not pure and nice at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Pogs.
I mean,
pretty cutthroat.
I think you can tech deck for pink slips, theoretically.
Who would be the judge, though? You would have to have a judge, because you can't, like, race someone. Yeah. Then it's really whoever has the fastest regular legs.
No, so then you're just running.
Yeah, you have to like run and also lean down with your two fingers. That sounds terrible. I would hate to do that. I feel like that doesn't happen very much.
No. I mean, I don't really have anything to say about these fidget cubes and fidget spinners and stuff. They seem cool. My roommate has one, and I understand they have therapeutic uses, and also the people are mad about them for some reason. I don't know. People are always mad at kids. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
Here's the secret. Don't care.
Got him.
Yeah.
Gets you really far in life to just be like, wait a minute, somebody else is doing something that barely affects me? Huh. I don't care.
We're so smart. That's such a like sage wisdom from the top of the mountain thing. Just to be like, be above it, and then you float off into the clouds.
You don't even have to be above it. You can be off to the side of it, or like just
Johnny's life
else.
Philosophy: be mildly ripped and also too cool for everybody else's shit. It serves him well. Let's see. We have like a minute left. Alexis David asks, most expensive / extravagant piece of clothing you have ever bought or owned. This feels like a Johnny question.
I have a silk dressing gown set.
How many do you need?
Yes. Well, when I say set, what I mean is it's not just the coat.
Oh, okay.
It is also a pair of pants.
Oh.
I bought it from something called the Alternatux collection.
Oh.
Because it's essentially like it's a silk smoking jacket and then an accompanying pair of pants that goes with it. And it was designed to be like, yeah, you can host in this and like, you know, put a shirt on underneath it with like a bow tie and be like, hey, this is your hosting clothes, where it's kind of like a tuxedo, but not quite as stuffy as a tuxedo, you know?
Yeah.
So it's sort of reminiscent of a smoking jacket, but it also is a silk pair of pants as well. That was pretty extravagant. Some coats I've bought have been pretty expensive. There's a crushed velvet blazer that I have.
Fuck. That's a very Johnny phrase. Crushed velvet blazer. I can't even picture it in my mind's eye.
Yeah.
It's too bougie. I'm Googling it now.
There's another one. There's a. I also have a suede one. I have a suede blazer.
Oh.
Too. When I was younger, when I was a teenager, I spent a ridiculous amount of money on some knee-high army boots.
I'm looking at pictures of crushed velvet blazers, and all these people look kind of like dorks, but also like really well put together, like fancy dorks, which is not the worst kind of dork to be.
My answer to this would just be like, I own suits that I wear for professional reasons, and you know that's really the extent of it. I own 3 different leather jackets. I guess that's kind of extravagant, although none of them cost a lot. But that's 2 more leather jackets than one needs. They're just different colors and they match different things.
Be honest, is one of them the Gosling jacket from Drive, and is another one the Cage jacket from Wild at Heart?
No, they're like that is snakeskin. But they're all just different colors. One is black, one is white, and one is blue. I used to have.
If you hit the lottery, would you buy the originals from those productions?
Absolutely not. That sounds like an incredible waste of my money.
Sorry.
I mean, that sounds cool the way you're saying it, but no, it just seems really impractical. These leather jackets. I mean, having 3 of them, I guess that is a lot, but they go with different outfits. Just like the fact that I own, 1, 2, 3, 4. I own 5 pairs of shoes, but it's not like I have a shoe obsession. They're just there for different purposes, and they are different colors.
My favorite extravagant clothes did not cost me that much money.
Yeah, none of my
like this is the thing, is extravagant and like expensive don't always necessarily go hand in hand, because extravagant can be sort of like just wildly emphasized, like it just goes there, you know? And
okay, Macklemore.
And seriously, just a lot of the time when you find those clothes, you will not find them in like high-end boutiques. You find them in like shitty little second-hand stores and stuff like that, like the Salvation Army or fucking Value Village or something like that. And they come from other eras where it was like, this was acceptable 40 years ago. And like you pay pittances for them. Like my fuzzy pink leopard print button-up shirt.
Oh,
I got that for free. Somebody else found it at a second-hand store. Was like, I have to give this to Johnny.
Why wasn't that literally the first thing you said? Because
I got it for free. I did not pay a cent for it.
It's very extravagant, though.
It is extremely extravagant.
I used to have a red leather jacket also, but I don't have it anymore. So those are my stories. By the way, none of these jackets. When I say these jackets aren't expensive, I mean they're probably not even leather. I'm pretty sure they're all just synthetic and made to look that way. I got them all very cheap because I usually buy my clothes out of season. So then when the season comes up, I will have them. So that's just good business. Austin, do you have any thoughts about your shorts?
Yes, tell me about your most expensive hockey or basketball jersey.
I mean, you joke, but I probably would have been a football jersey. Would have been the most expensive clothing I owned until very recently.
I'm aware of how ridiculously priced they are.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember the most expensive jersey I've ever owned was probably like $200 or something. They can get pretty crazy, and I've had like actual like play quality stuff.
Are they durable? Like, do they last? Because I mean, I realize that if they're quote unquote play quality stuff, then presumably they're designed to be hit by other men who are running very, very fast at you.
$200 sounds like a lot. Did the players once wear them?
No.
Oh no.
That's nuts. Then.
No. I've never seen anyone's jersey be irreparably like destroyed to the point where it's unwearable. I've seen a couple tear, but that's usually because someone did a penalty worthy thing to them, like grabbed it and tried to like horse collar them down or something.
Oh, right.
They're
like
pretty
had
well
a close
designed.
encounter with the nacho bowl.
All right.
First of all, nice. Second of all, okay, so this isn't related to the question, but I did have the most equipment failure thing that ever happened is I blocked a field goal with my face.
Ooh,
and
that doesn't sound like an equipment failure, son. That sounds like an error in judgment. If I may.
I was wearing a helmet as a thing, and it didn't hurt because I was wearing a helmet. So the moral of the story is that stuff's built really good because that would have like probably knocked you unconscious if you weren't wearing a helmet, and it only scuffed the helmet. Oh. And I remember saying to the coach, like, is that going to come out? And he's like, do you want it to come out? That's cool. Like, you did a cool thing. And it's like, oh, yeah, shit. That's actually kind of, like, if your uniform got torn, that's like, yeah, I go hard. Like, it's kind of a cool thing, actually.
See, not something I would say about my
Yeah.
fuzzy pink leopard print button-up shirt.
Although I think there's like pre-torn jeans. If there's a market for pre-torn crushed velvet blazers, I would be interested in exploring that a little bit.
Well, I'll see what happens with mine when I'm done with it.
Just that artistic space. Yeah, but the boring answer is I have a suit now. Sorry. I'm an adult. Oops, I've broken the fiction of Austin gadfly socialist.
I was 25.
All right. Do you guys want to wrap up this episode and go to bed? Because I do.
Sure. Anything you guys want to say before we go?
Appendicitis.
No thanks.
No, I like to say appendicitis.
Okay. So Chuck Woolery's a real big piece of shit.